All right. Well, welcome everybody. So it's the first Tuesday of August. Can y'all already believe it's August? I mean, seriously, we're going to be blinking. It's going to be Christmas before we know it.
Costco has their Halloween costumes out. I saw that yesterday.
I know. Why do they do that? It's so
Shoot me.
frustrating. Everybody, they start 3 months early on all these things. They're just like rushing it all. But, the first Tuesday of every month, we just do a kind of an open mastermind discussion around any topics that you guys want to talk about or anything around the market, things you're seeing, questions you're having. So it's just really this particular one, the first of every month is really, like I said, just a mastermind. So it's what do y'all want to talk about today? So I'm just going to open it up. If there is somebody that has something that they want to throw out there, and this is for all of us to participate in, just to bounce ideas off one another, just to we're better together, right? And so who has something that they want to kick off? Any topic somebody wants to throw out there to start?
I have a quick question.
Well, let's go.
I need a new, fresh PowerPoint presentation. That one you did yesterday, Sean. By the way, you did a fantastic job yesterday. But anyway, I would appreciate a help finding a new PowerPoint presentation.
Like the one that I showed yesterday that Eric put together?
Yeah.
Okay, I've already put it on the Freedom Team Workplace site. It's under files. Go right there. You'll see his presentation and then his video, obviously.
I saw that, but I want one that I can do myself as well. That's where Eric's doing the talking. Is that right?
No, but I also uploaded the PowerPoint itself is there. So you can download that PowerPoint to your desktop, laptop, whatever, and use that to walk somebody through.
I'll see if I can find it. Thanks.
Yeah, it's under files. So right when you go to the Freedom Team support, click on files. It's the very first one. I just uploaded it yesterday.
On Workplace.
You got it.
Thanks.
Steve, if you need help with that, call me afterwards here and I can help you with it. Okay.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Yep, for sure. So
what else? So we're going to talk mainly about, well, we're going to talk really today is all about sales and, how to get more sales. What are we doing to get more leads? All of that. So, anybody have anything they want to throw out? I was on a mastermind right before this, and I've got a couple of topics I can throw out that was kind of discussed around there, but we want to hear from you.
I have something.
Ashley, what you got?
Hi, so this is my second month here. I'm a new agent, so I know the market is kind of shaky right now, and I wanted to see if you guys had any advice on how to get out there a little bit more. The expireds that I'm trying to reach base with, I'm getting voicemails and no calls back. Just any advice.
Michael Higdon, what would you throw out to a new agent?
Why you come to me on that?
Because you are baller.
For expired listings, the first thing you want to check, or you may not know this, your phone, if you've made any kind of calls in the past, your phone is probably coming in as spam or being marked as a telemarketer or something like that. So to that end, I do a lot of calling. I use a program called Mojo that kind of filters through, finds phone numbers for me for all the expireds, cancels, but it also does the geofencing. There's just not a lot of expireds or cancels out there in any market right now. So people get stuck. Well, I get through those expireds and cancels fairly quickly. So you're going to have to go through another realm of just listed, just sold calls. If you don't have a sell or a pass sell, you can go find one from another EXP agent in your market and go look and run a report on, find out which neighborhoods are selling. It makes sense. Let's see which neighborhoods are high on sales here and have a lot of sales in that neighborhood. That means people want to be in that neighborhood. So call other neighbors and just say, hey, did you know that there's been 4 houses that have sold in your neighborhood in the last 2 months and that they're at record sale prices? I don't care if you're moving or not, but I just wanted to give you some value and see if you or any of your other neighbors are looking to make a move in what seems to be a really hot neighborhood. Did you know that? And then you start a conversation. And if they're saying, take off, I'm not interested. Perfect. Great. I know with a lot of my astute clients, whether they're moving in 30 days or 30 years, they want to know what's going on in the marketplace. Would you be interested in getting information on your particular property in the near future? And they say, well, what do you mean? Well, I've got this great application. It's called HomeBot or Market Snapshot or whatever. I can set you on that so you'll know the values of your home should the time arise that you want to make a move. Would you want me to set you up with that? And they're like, well, yeah, sure. Then you set them up, rinse, repeat, going to the next one. In terms of the phone numbers, I use a company called, what's it called? Crap. I think it's Boost for numbers.
Yeah, and Michael, when you find it in the other one you've referenced, if you get a second, put it in the chat box. So
I will when I find that, but what it does is it protects, it gives you alternate phone numbers for you to put in your dialer, or from your phone, you can call from that number so that you can get a brand new phone number that doesn't show up as a telemarketer, that you could subvert some of these other phone numbers. And I've seen probably an 8 to 10 increase on answers as I'm calling.
Very good.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Hope that helps.
And Ashley, we're gonna have, I think it's the 15th of this month. We're gonna have somebody come in, Rob Daniels, who is he's gonna do for sale by owner training, and next month I think is expired training. So look for that on the Freedom Team calendar. He works with Sean Kokoska, who was the president of KW MAPS training program. And the numbers, one of them was 5, one of them was 7 expires or FSBOs, but he, for 7 straight years, he got 5 FSBOs a month or 5 expireds a month, and then vice versa on the other one for 7 years. And so he's going to come in and train on how he did that for so many years. So one of them, like I said, is week after next on the 15th. I think that one's the FSBO one for sale by owner. And then there's one in September that's the expireds. So tune in on that. He will be a great resource to train on how best to, go after these for sale by owners and go after these expireds.
Okay, thank you, Kathy.
One thing I'll put out real quick, Ashley, and really to everybody, just as a reminder, we've had several of these Tuesday, get-togethers, masterminds on client events. Last week, my wife and another agent here in town did a ladies event. And here, I'm going to share my screen real quick just so you can see this, because they, just to show you some pictures. So what they did was, and they used Aileen. If you go back, Aileen Fountain did a great training on how she does events. Yeah. And they used that format to put this together. Okay. So again, sending out like an email, like a month ahead of time, 6 weeks ahead of time, save the date. She did a video for it. We texted that video out. We emailed it out. She had a postcard that she got printed up for $40 or something, made 100 of those, put those in the mail to people, had an RSVPs in there, whatever. Now she's doing follow backs, sending everybody thank yous and all the ones that came, plus a video that we put together that's like 2 minutes long or a minute and a half, kind of highlighting it. But what she did with this for a ladies event, it was 100% paid for by sponsors. Okay. So it cost her nothing out of pocket. We got a room at a hotel, a ballroom, a small hotel here for like $200. We had food brought in, this event company that brought in food. And then she had like 4 or 5 different like spas and estheticians and like that kind of stuff, right? So they had their tables set up, and they were offering like specials, like, sign up for a facial today, get 50% off. Like they did different things like this, each of these tables. And then everybody brought in clothes. I was there to take pictures and stuff. I was just kind of like trying to be back in the back and stay out of the way, but I did eat some of the food, I got to admit. But anyway, everybody brought in clothes, like bring in clothes that you don't wear, that kind of stuff, whatever you're done with, bring them in. She had racks all over the place, and then tables, small, medium, large, extra large, whatever. Everybody brought in, they put their clothes out everywhere on the racks. And then you could take as much as you want. Whatever was left over, we bagged it all up and we took it to just like Goodwill or to ARC. It's a place here in town that does stuff like that. They have stores and stuff for veterans and whatever. It's run by veterans. But anyway, it was a great event. And then they did giveaways. All the different people that had tables set up, they put together like baskets and packages and, $100 gift card for their services or whatever. And we did a drawing for it. So you see the food looked great. This really, really went well. They had a great turnout. We have a lender and a title company that came in. They had wine. Everybody got a drink ticket when they came in, but the ladies had a great time, and again, the best part of it, again, great way to connect with people. You can see the different tables, they're running all their stuff. But it costs nothing out of pocket for us to do it. It was just the time of putting it together. So anyway, and then here, taking pictures of the ladies that won their things and, just different things. That was a $200 hairdryer, by the way. I would never buy a $200 hairdryer.
Right.
Who does that? What's wrong with you people?
It's like
Anyway.
curling irons now. That's what takes. A lot of them are. So,
Anyway.
so I love that. So the clothes, like people could take them for themselves, and then
Everybody brought in their
Yeah.
stuff and then take as
Right.
much as you want, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and we had a big pile left over that nobody took, and then we just took that in and donated it. But it was just a simple event, again, a great ladies event. It's not nothing I would ever do with the guys, but for the ladies, it was. Sorry, Mike. I know. We need our facials too, I guess.
So Ashley, like talking about that, that's even great for a new agent like yourself,
Absolutely.
and
Do
just
that with
bringing
your
all
sphere,
your
get it out.
friends and everybody together, and as he said, it didn't really cost anything. He got his sponsors, and I can assure you, you may not have connections yet, but you start reaching out to insurance companies, title companies, lenders, they will all want to partner with you because they're going to want to see you be successful, because the more successful you are, and if they're helping you, hopefully you're going to refer to them. So you could do something like this, or anybody could do something like this with no cost. It's a little bit of effort, but big returns, because, our business is all about relationship. And this is great ways to get in front of people, and building those relationships.
One of the things that she did was she ordered, and I think this cost, it was very cheap, but she ordered both. It was her and another lady here in town. They partnered up, another EXP agent. They got like a bag, like a tote bag kind of thing. And it had her name, EXP Realty, the phone number, the website, whatever. It was all on the side of the bag. Everybody got a bag when they came in. We put a page in there that was just a printed page with all the sponsors on there. Again, so the sponsors felt great about doing it. It was great for them, but we really pushed the sponsors. We gave each sponsor like 1 minute at the front of the room just to, share about what they do and where their business is located. And hey, come over to my table. Here's what I'm offering tonight. And thanks for coming, whatever. And so that took all of 5 minutes to get through, whatever, very quick. We took a pause there. But the sponsors, the list of sponsors was in the bag. And then, because we've been doing these magazines, again, something else I picked up here on these Tuesday mornings, we do these magazines now every other month. We had a stack of these and a lot of people taking the magazine. So we were promoting our business along the way, but we didn't promote it from up front. The lender just got up and thanked everybody and all that kind of stuff. He did mention about the rates and any refis coming up, keep us in mind for down the road, that kind of thing, whatever. But it wasn't a salesy, pushy event at all. The ladies had a great time, and they were all walking out with just bags and armfuls of clothing and different things that they did. The sponsors loved it. They had a great time. They picked up business. So it really was a good event that anybody could do, brand new agent or 20-year-old agent. It doesn't matter. It's just a simple thing. And it was a lot of fun.
Jeff?
Yeah.
So who did, as far as invites and things like that, was it kind of like, oh, we're trying to hit like these certain people, or was it just like anybody they knew? How did you decide?
For us, we went through we used KV Core. We went through our KV Core, and we've got people tagged in there that are like all local past clients. We invited all our past clients, the ladies, our sphere, friends from church. My wife went around and to the neighborhood here, just the neighbors that we know on our street, and some others here in the neighborhood, went out and actually hand delivered them an invite, whatever, one of those postcards, had them in the list. We invited, I don't know how many total we invited. Probably for us personally, we invited probably close to 100 personally. The other lady, I don't know what she invited, but they had, I don't know, 60, 70 ladies that showed up. It was, which was a great turnout for that. It was a Wednesday night we did it last Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. So, just kind of a ladies' night out. It worked well. So,
Yeah, it looked awesome.
I think that is awesome. And I'd almost throw out the idea, because thanks for bringing that up and beginning to share. We can all use that. What is something else anybody's done in the last, 2, 3, 4 months that's worked for you that we could share with the group and see if we can kind of do the same thing we're doing with that topic? Anybody done anything in the last few months that's working for you?
a great time for events.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe we kind of flip that and talk about, like, we're here August 1st. What are some good things, some good ideas coming up that we can put, maybe somebody can put together and start promoting an event, between now and the end of the year. So we got Halloween coming up, we got Thanksgiving coming up, we've got Christmas coming up, it doesn't even have to be on a holiday. Like, that was just, a random ladies' night out. So it's not even tied around a holiday. So why don't some people who has something coming up that maybe they're working on between now and the end of the year? Let's spark some maybe ideas about, like, it'd be great if all 23 people had an event before the end of the year that's on here.
I think about even like a summer closeout barbecue kind of thing, that could be done. Even let school get going, because it gets crazy here in August. I know it can get a little hectic with school getting going again, but even after Labor Day,
Yep.
it's still nice out, most places. So middle of September, you could pick a Saturday or something and kind of a summer wrap up barbecue, something that could be done. And again, with a lender and get some people involved, a few sponsors, you can get it covered.
Celebrate back to school.
Find a park kind of thing. Definitely the holidays. Things it makes me think of.
Does
We did a
anybody
big
have
Christmas
anything
thing
planned for this year, the rest of this year? I've done at Halloween a couple of years ago. I did a pet, bring your pet for pictures. And I had all these different costumes that I had bought for animals, mainly for dogs. So I bought small, medium, larges, and bring your pet. I had a professional photographer there, like everybody, especially if you don't have babies, or even if you do, your pet becomes your baby. And so I had a pet mobile service out there. They weren't doing grooming, but I had them there. They were one of the sponsors, and they were giving discounts for people, that wanted to sign up for that, but people loved it. So I had a professional photographer. Like I said, we took all the pictures of their dogs. They dressed them in different outfits. And so instead of a people Halloween, I just had pets and pets in costumes. I forgot the name of what I called it. It was a couple of years ago, but it was kind of catchy. But anyway, and I actually opened it up. I did it outside at this venue that's sort of in the area, and I opened it up. I did some Facebook ads for just that targeted at the local area, like a very condensed area around where we were doing it, which happens to be in the area that I live in too. And so it was a great event. People loved it. So you could do, things like that. But any other thoughts around that, or any other topics? If there's not.
Events are something to think about. We talk about it a lot on
Right.
here. And again, I would tell you guys, if you haven't watched it, if you're not part of EXP, and then we got several guests on here, go back and watch. If you go to our Freedom Team YouTube channel, there's a training that Aileen Fountain did couple 2-3 months ago on events, and it was awesome. We've had really good trainings on events, but that was a really, really good one that she did. Her process of what she does with that, we kind of followed that with this one, and it worked well. It's a great way. It's not an immediate return a lot of times, although we have had some where it's like, my wife did we're doing like housewarming parties now. We start, again, stuff I've learned on here. We did a housewarming for some people, and like literally the neighbor across the street at this housewarming came over. They invited this guy, and sure enough, he's like, I'm getting ready. I'm retired. I'm getting ready to sell my house and move and whatever. It was probably a week, 2 weeks later, we put his house on the market, and we just double ended it. We just got the full commission check. I just picked it up yesterday, actually. on that one. And so there was, you know, it was a nice, I don't know, whatever it was, $22,000 commission check, you know, and it just came out of doing a housewarming party, you know,
Nice.
for some clients about a month after they moved in. So anyway,
I'd like to know if anybody has a nugget that they can share as far as lead gen. I have been with realtor.com for years, and at one point I was getting 1,000% ROI. I haven't gotten anything at all. Literally, they gave me a zip code, which is in a very prominent area, and still nothing. I got a lead yesterday. It was a real estate agent checking her own listings. Is there anybody that's using these services for lead gen? Because I've got another guy that I've been working with. At first, we were doing Facebook ads and to the tune of about $700 and got zero. So then he switched me over to Google, and it's not, you know, it's not conducive. I mean, I'm spending a lot of money and getting zero return. I'm just wondering if anybody else is seeing that with maybe their old lead gens, and if it's not just my area. I'm just really curious about that, because the leads are just not coming in. So anybody?
any thoughts on that, guys? Anybody using realtor.com and having success with it right now?
Hey guys, sorry I hopped on the call a little bit later. This is Courtney from Nashville. So I have a lead generation program that I actually came across due to a lender of mine that I had actually met networking through a golf tournament at the Greater Nashville Realtors event here in Hermitage, right just outside of Nashville. And he actually came to me, and I apologize, I'm a little under the weather, so if you hear me cough. Anyway, he came to me and told me about a lead generation program called Cinc, C-I-N-C. And at first I was a little skeptical because I had not had much results through Zillow or realtor.com. So essentially he decided to pair up with us. He's paying for more than half of the lead generation. If I decided that I didn't want to be on a team and split it 3 ways, I could go completely by myself. So you kind of control, if you decide to find someone who will sponsor and give you a team, you kind of control how much you spend. So for me, I'm only spending $200 a month right now. And I have 125 leads. Most of them are warm, if not hot. I've got a $2.5 million buyer out of it, $2 million buyers. I got a 400 all cash buyer. And then I've got 2 working in the wind right now that we're in the process of just getting them processed, and they're about to start looking at homes. I have had a lot of success. Obviously the ratio isn't there, but for me only paying $200 a month, this is well worth it. It's already paid for itself within the first few leads, if not more.
So isn't CINC part of Conversion, which is part of KV Core?
I don't know about that. I know that
I thought it was when you said Sync, because Commissions Inc.
Commissions Inc. Yeah.
That's what they go by. I mean, CINC. I wonder if is it Commissions Inc. Does that sound familiar?
That's who pulls out of my account. Yes.
Yeah.
And
they're similar to KV Core is my understanding, right? You know, they're like a KV Core. And then I would say your $200 and whatever the other people are putting in, they're probably just doing like Facebook ads and all and driving leads in just like KV Core can do.
Yeah, it is similar. However, I have found that as much money as we put into the Facebook ads, it is not worth it. Where we have found the majority of our search engine optimization is through Google ads, dumping about $100 a month into that. And then each person on our team is tailored to a different thing. So like for me, I'm your old Hickory Lake Nashville realtor and stuff like that. So anybody who's looking for Lake Home, which is how I find those higher clients, that's how I got them.
Okay.
Interesting. So, I mean, and Courtney I'm assuming that's all working like that's all agents just in your area right there.
So we've got one in Chattanooga, we've got one here in Nashville, and we've got one who's dealing with like more northern Tennessee, where I would be too far for me to go.
More of a local thing, because I know Commissions Inc. is. I mean, it's a good platform. I know it's very expensive. I never have done it myself. It's been around for a long time.
Exactly why I paired with my lender. I had a lender who was willing to do that because he's like my exclusive. Like we are a part of a team.
Okay.
And so he pays for more than half of that. But if I wanted to just go in by myself and eliminate the other 2, it would be well worth the cost. That's at first just getting started just to see how it went. That's why I went in on a team of 3 of us, and each person has had equal opportunity, which is nice too.
Might be worth looking into, and maybe having a lender look into it, something
Yeah.
like that, Paul.
Mhm.
One of the things that I've done that's actually, I finally got it kind of up and running, and I've been tweaking constantly, but in the last like 3 weeks, it's really been working well for us, is just our Google business page with Google local leads.
Yeah.
I set up both of those. And again, it's stuff I learned on here. It's stuff I learned from Aaron Ken, some of his stuff. I did get that up and running. I finally got it. I found a good, a service, an answering service. They're based out of Florida. Because I wanted to get it set up for 24 hours, but I didn't want to be answering the phone Sunday night at 11 o'clock, and part of Google local leads and Google business, like if you don't, they're listening to all the calls. And if you don't answer the phone, your score goes down and you go down. So I found this service that's set up for 24-hour answering, which has really been helpful. They answer all of our calls and then they forward it to either myself or my wife. Like especially like during business hours, they know after like 6-7 o'clock, they take it. But that's really been working well for us. The last few weeks, that's been moving along. I can't say we've gotten like, hundreds of leads, nothing like what Courtney just shared, but the leads we're getting have been good. My wife actually was just out this last weekend with $1 million buyer. She came in for one day. Her and her husband are getting ready to move here, and they're working together, and it came from that, the Google local leads, So something to look into. We've got our business page set up on there. I got photos on there, I got reviews on there. We set up the phone number, all that kind of stuff. And then we just clicked it over to open 24 hours here just a couple weeks ago, instead of like the, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. kind of thing or whatever it was. And that seems to have helped it in terms of just the response we're getting. But that's working well for us and not costing a lot of money. I mean, it's just, we're not paying a whole lot for that,
What are you paying for that? Do you know about?
I got to look and see. I mean, it's just, I kind of watch it every day. I've got my budget set to the max, which is like $2,500 a week, something like that. Now we're not even close to that, but I've got it at the highest level because again, it just puts you, Google will put you up higher in their search stuff. Now you can turn it on and off as you want. So, if you want to pay $300 a week, when you hit that, just turn that off and just turn it back on next Monday kind of thing. So you can monitor it, but I've got the budget on there set at the max. And then I got the 24-hour thing set on there, but I can turn it on and off as I want. So I'm just getting in there every day and watching it. I mean, so far, I think it's cost us maybe, I don't know, $500 or something. It's been running now for like a month, that's including the answering service because they charge per call with what they're doing, which is very minimal. It's like, I don't know, $20 or something for them. So anyway,
You say
One thing I might,
$20 a call?
I mean, so for them to answer, I forget what I've got them set. There's like they get, it's like it's actually less than that. It's way less than that. Now that I think about that, I'm trying to think it through. I've done so much of this here lately. It's running. I want to say it's even like $1, $2 a call. It's very low for their fees. Yeah.
We have a franchise. Yeah, we have a franchise agreement with a company in Maryland, and that's what they charge. It charges like $1.50 a call.
Yeah. That's what this is. Now that I think about it. Yeah. So it's a combination of all this, the Google, ads that are running, all that kind of stuff. But it's doing it all. It's working well. So.
We've talked about on here a long time, and this is or several times, and we've had trainings. This is a long-term play as well. But I would say, Paul, if you don't have a YouTube channel going yet, to start a YouTube channel.
I do, but I have not put as much content in there as I really want to.
And the ones that from the sales and lead gen side, the ones that seem to work are the ones that are like living in Seattle, like living in Nashville, living in wherever you're at. And because those are the ones people are going to look at if they're looking to move to cities or they're in a city, right? And they're searching, it's going to come up in the Google search. And so I don't know what your channel's named, but if you're out trying to generate leads, I would have it be something about your city, living in Seattle. And then just, it's, we know this about anything in any lead gen, it's all about the consistency and doing the consistency of, the activities. It doesn't matter if you're doing farming, it doesn't matter what you're going to do. If we do it once or twice, you're probably not going to see the return. It's with that consistency. But I think YouTube is huge, huge right now. And I think it's only going to get bigger. And so I'd encourage everybody, if you're not doing that, to start a YouTube channel, living in the city that you're in, name it that.
That's what I did, living in Snoqualmie Valley, Washington. So
Yeah. But it's obviously about getting the content out there. Go look at some of the guys that have done it and see what different content that they're putting out there. Is it Connor Steinbeck, Levi Lastic, Jackson Wilkie, and Jesse Dayu? They have all these programs that they sell that teach you how to do YouTube. So you don't have to necessarily buy their program, but just go look up their YouTube channels and look at all the things that they're putting out there.
Will you, Catherine, when you get a minute, type some of those names in? They just so
Yep.
everybody has them.
Yeah.
One thing too,
could-
guys, with the videos, like in terms of content, like we've talked about it. And again, I got this from Jay Kinder. He mentioned, he was the first one I ever heard about this, Keeping Current Matters, which again, I've been subscribing to them, but that's great content also for like if you wanted to do 3 or 4 videos a week, just take one of those daily blog posts and literally you could turn that into a video in a heartbeat. In terms of content, if you're looking for content to come up with, that's just a simple way. You could literally just take that almost word for word and put it into a teleprompter on your computer, free prompter. There's all those out there, and literally just look into your camera and read it. Get some help with it, maybe if you need to, but throw a couple of their graphics in there, and you could easily have content, on a daily basis with that. Keeping Current Matters just today, I just got an email here a few minutes ago because I did upgrade to it, but now they're doing local as well. So it's not just more national statistics. You can actually hone in on your local market. And they do have that available as of today.
well, that's awesome. Yeah, because the national stuff doesn't fly around here. It's way too low. I mean, our median out here is in the millions, so
yeah.
Perfect.
It's worked for us in terms of just some content and blog posts and just different things that I've been doing, just keeping myself out there. But now the local stuff, I'm excited to see what they're doing. They were partnered with a couple companies. I forget the name of the one that's out there that's so big, but they hone in on all these individual markets all over the country, and so that's now part of their service as well. Is that you can get local stats, local stories, local everything. So I'm excited to see what that does. Like I said, just got the email that it finally came through. They announced it about a month ago.
And
So-
what was that you're talking about, Jeff?
Keeping Current Matters
Okay.
is the name of it. Yeah, Keeping Current Matters. If you just look that up, whatever. So
I just put it in the chat box, the link.
there you go. So yeah, but they now offer local, which is nice.
Yeah, I know. I used them for years and then I just got redundant because I was just
Yeah.
like, this doesn't pertain to me. So now if that does, that's very cool then.
Yeah. Their blog posts are good in terms of just like, again, content. I know a lot of people are just doing that like almost on a daily basis, doing a daily video, but just using that their content every day, because it's just all about things with the market and rates and home sellers and their prices and appraisal things. I mean, every day it's something different. So it's a pretty easy way to come up with a video, for a day, which it could be a minute and a half long video. It could be a 5-minute video, whatever you want to do, but great way to just generate content, So Steve, I think I apologize. I talked over you. You mentioned something. My bad.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
No problem. That was very interesting that you brought up. Most of you know, some of you don't. I kind of bowed out for about a year, had some health issues and whatever. And anyway, I'm back and needing to restart and looking around and particularly paying attention to the stuff coming up around the Freedom Team and so forth and so on. It became apparent to me that what I needed to do to get started, and I may go somewhere else beyond this, but is to really get KV Core going. We've got it. It's about as powerful of an app, a CRM, as there is out there. May not be that user friendly, but I decided to let Kim Herrera take it and run with it for me. It's not that expensive. It's not that expensive, and she'll even run the whole thing for not a whole lot of money. I think it's $297 a month or something like that.
Only 150 a month. She'll run it.
150 a month. Right, you're right, Sean. But anyway, I mean, it's to me, that's where one ought to start. And I'm sure most of you are all of you probably are doing that, but I was not. I've been out of the picture for close to a year. Actually, it'll be a year, the 11th of August of the 11th. So anyway, I had my left knee replaced, and I thought it'd be no big deal. Boy, it's a big deal, trust me. Anyway, be that as it may, I'm back, and not only I'm going to do a little bit of business. I've got 2 listings coming up, and I've got, but I'm going to focus more on recruiting agents. But to recruit agents, you really need to be in the business, at least on somewhat level, so you know how to talk to them better. And had a breakfast meeting this morning. Things are really starting to gin in that regard too. But I'm going to focus on KV Core first.
Yeah, it's a great tool. It's great, that's good to know. Just a good reminder that Kim has that service available. If you know Kim.
Yeah, and I just put her contact, her email information in there if anybody wants to find out more information about that. Yeah, so thanks, Sean. So I put her email. You've got that on there, but that's good.
No, good
So
stuff.
how
KV
are
Core is a
y'all
powerful
seeing
platform.
How are y'all seeing the market in your areas right now? What are y'all seeing there with the market, the business? I mean, is it still low on inventory? Is that still tight in most areas? What are y'all seeing?
Well, FSBOs and expired are just non-existent. They're absolute unicorns in the Seattle market. At least in the east side. Yeah, they're just you just don't ever see them at all. They're not on the MLS. You know, you can maybe find them through Zillow and that kind of thing, but for the most part, yeah, the inventory is so tight that nothing lasts. I mean,
So it's still going quickly when it hits the market.
multiple offers. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it hasn't skipped a beat. I mean, with respect to inventory.
Yeah.
I mean, there was always a time, especially when I would do Facebook ads, that I'd get hundreds of leads because I would do them in different stages, 3 to 450, 450 to 6 and so forth. And I'd create all these ads and then I would get plenty of play. Anymore, like I said, it's pretty much dried up. I think it's just that we just don't have enough inventory. The Seattle market is just notorious for that.
What are y'all seeing with inventory? There is a lot of talk and, people are in their homes at these low interest rates. So it's sort of this catch-22. They don't want to get out of their home at their low interest rate to go, pay double the interest rate on another property. And not to mention the prices are high, which I think is, a big part of why the inventory is still staying so low. Are y'all seeing that in all your areas as well? Nobody else selling anything?
Hi, everybody. I have a listing in Puebla West, but it's not moving. Nobody's going, and the house is beautiful and it's like new. And but I was thinking to do like assumable loan since her interest rate is 3.75. So I told her yesterday to find out and she can have assumable loan. So I don't have experience with that, but we will offer that on the listing. I hope it moves that, which I think it will. Instead of paying the 7% or 6.5, we are going to offer the 3.75.
If that's a good point to bring up, especially if somebody's bought their house in the last couple of years and they haven't seen maybe the equity growth where people bought 4 years ago, and then we had that big, huge boom. right? For somebody to assume their loan is probably going to be $100,000+ out of pocket for a buyer to be able to, because they're going to just assume the equity, they got to pay out the equity. But if somebody's just sold in the last couple of years after we were more at the height of that boom and the equity hasn't grown to the degree that it maybe did in 2020 and 2021, that's a good thought because buyers may be able to really have the cash to come assume that low interest rate loan. And it's not that they can't on the ones that were prior to the big, rise in price or rise in price causing the equity position to be so much better. But that is just a good reminder and a good thought to see, from a listing sales strategy to see if the loan happens to be assumable. And it's just another avenue, another way to market, hey, get this property at a 3.25% interest rate. Ask me how. If anybody sees something like, that in advertising, you're going to be talk about lead gen. You're going to be getting a lot of buyers calling. How do I get a 3.25 interest rate?
So Kathy,
Kathy, if I may.
Yeah, Michael.
I was going to say what my coach and I are working on a lot is, you're right, the people that had that 2.5 to 3.5% rate, they pre-COVID or up to now, they've done a lot of renovations onto their house, and they are kind of stuck with that, what is now the new asset class of a really low mortgage rate. So what we're looking at is focusing on life events for either your database or seller. Now that could start, be around, if you see people that are having kids on Facebook that, if they're adding to their family, that's a big life event. And if they're in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch and they've got 4 kids already, that's probably going to be a person that wants to move in the near future. The second life event is you're going to look at divorce. How many people out there are, they're not probably going to advertise that on Facebook, but that's a good opportunity to go reach out to 3 or 5 to 10 divorce attorneys in your town, maybe take them to lunch and just say, hey, do you have a go-to agent that you refer your divorce couples to? And the third thing, of course, that I've always been, it's one of my bread and butters, is estates. With the baby boomers passing away, you have the largest transfer of wealth in the United States going on. So go out and look at the probates, the estates in your area. It's real easy to get a list. Go find, again, attorneys that specialize in that area, and you can quickly build a database of people. These are the have to moves. The other people are the want to moves and the tire kickers. On every summer, but these are the have to moves that will really feed you going into the fall and winter months.
That's good. Is there a list? I should know the answer to this after all these years. Is there, when people we're talking about divorce, when people file a divorce, is that a public filing? Like, can people find lists on divorce files? Anybody know? I never really thought about that, but as you were talking, it made me think. So just like with, probate stuff, if you could find a list when people file divorce, you may know.
I don't know about that one. I don't know.
That's a great idea, Mike, though. Like, I don't know, half a dozen divorce attorneys and just, take them to lunch and just get to know them a little bit. And then, hey, I'd love to be your go-to agent, or at least one of your agents that you work with, when you're in need of this, whatever. I mean,
so, one thing I'll mention around divorce is, and Michael, I don't know if you consider this, years and years ago, 10 years, 12 years ago, I did a certification on divorce and real estate. And I had been in real estate at that point for about 10 years, sold hundreds of homes up to that point. I sat in that class for 2 days with my mouth on the floor about things to think about when you're representing a divorced person or a divorcing person. And, I did a training on this. I think I did it over a year ago. It's somewhere back in the Freedom Team. But 3 things that I'll just point out to you really quickly that come to mind that I learned in that class. This is more, I will say, this is more if one of the spouses is trying to keep the house versus move. Okay. But So it's not quite as applicable if they are going to sell it. But if you've got, but this is where we can come in as advisors for our clients. So if you've got a divorce situation going on and one of the spouses is trying to keep the house because, you know, they don't want to take the kids out of the school zone, whatever reason, what the courts do and what the divorce attorneys do, because their job is not real estate, but what they typically do is they get an independent appraisal, they take the equity, and the difference is what they're negotiating, right, with their client. That's what they're negotiating. So a few things happen. What people never think about doing is doing a home inspection on their home because they live in their home, right? So they think they know that, or they don't even think about it. But here in Nashville, we have a lot of homes on crawl spaces, and where all the surprises show up is in the crawl space because nobody crawls in a crawl space, right? And so that's where you're going to find big leaks, things like that. So if you're ever representing a divorced client and somebody's trying to keep it, but you start throwing out some of these ideas to your client, a lot of times they're like, you know what, like, I don't even want to deal with it. Let's just sell the house. But recommend that they get a home inspection. And I can tell, you know, through these 2-day classes, they just had horror story after horror story about all these things. The other thing that nobody considers and nobody thinks about is we should run a title search on this property. Because sometimes when you're in a contentious divorce, one of the spouses has gone out and taken a loan on the house, maybe had a lien on it, unbeknownst to the staying spouse. That doesn't get discussed or found out, nor does it get negotiated. And the big thing that I learned in that class, once a divorce is done. So even if this stuff is found out after the fact, you can't go back. And then the third thing that one of the third biggest things that came out of that. And again, you know, attorneys' jobs are not real estate. So they don't know this real estate like we know real estate. And so they don't even direct their clients for this. But a lot of times what happens is the staying spouse, the leaving spouse, they'll again negotiate the deal, whatever, you know, all they're doing on the house. The leaving spouse, they have quit claim their ownership rights over to the staying spouse. And then many times they tell the staying spouse, okay, you have to get this refinanced within 6 months, or you have to get this refinanced within a period of time. But what happens when somebody quit claims their ownership rights over to the staying spouse, they're still liable on that mortgage. It doesn't take them off of their loan if they're on the loan. And so if the staying spouse defaults on that loan, guess what? The one who left and quit claiming their ownership rights, now they have no ownership to it, but they have all financial responsibility to the house. And so you don't want to let your clients be in a position where they're especially the one if they're trying to leave, you know, and quit claiming their rights over, but yet they're still on the loan. And even if the what if the staying spouse loses their job? Maybe they're not trying to be facetious and do things on purpose, but if they lose their job and they can't pay the loan, all those things. So those are three. There are many other things, but those were 3 big things talking about divorce and real estate to consider. And if you just start throwing out highlights of those things to people, especially if one's trying to stay, many times they're like, you know what, I don't even want to have to deal with all this stuff. You know, let's just sell the house. But, you know, I feel like I just want to be an advisor and a trusted person. Maybe they don't sell right then. Maybe really one of them does stay and does keep the house. But if I'm that trusted advisor for them through that transition, then I'll hopefully be the one they come to at the time that they are ready to sell. Right. So anyway, hope that helps if you guys are dealing with any divorce people, to consider those things when you're talking to your clients.
Good stuff. For sure.
Are y'all seeing anybody seeing Paul with your market, multiple offers, or anybody? Are y'all seeing any appraisal issues at all starting to happen?
No. Mm-mm. But that was really good information on the divorce there, Kathy. Really good.
Awesome, thank you. I was on a mastermind call right before this, and the majority of the topic of that conversation was around appraisal problems, not appraising. So, you know, that like this, that was people from all over the country in different areas. One of the ladies that really kicked it off, she's in Ohio, and she just kind of told her horror story. And you know, the houses in the area are fairly inexpensive. I think they listed at 160 in the appraisal, or 165, and had multiple offers. And the appraisal came in on the offer they took at 130. And so it spawned this whole discussion around, you know, like several other people chimed in different areas. They too are starting to see some appraisal problems and appraisal issues. And so I'm glad to hear none of you guys are experiencing that. But one thing that I will say around that I've always done, especially if I think there's any potential opportunity for the appraisal to be low, but quite honestly, as this market is shifting, we probably should do this for everybody. If you're listing a property, I always will meet the appraiser out there with the comps that I used to price the property. So they're going to contact you to come out and, you know, to come out to do the appraisal, you, the listing agent. And I always meet the appraiser, and I'm just very nonchalant about it because I don't want their ego to be hurt and, you know, act like I'm trying to do their job. But I just, you know, I'll meet them out there and, you know, just start some friendly conversation. I stay out of their way, but I just say, you know, hey, I know you're super busy. And if this is helpful for you, I just wanted to give you the comps that I used when I priced the property. You know, I know you got to go searching for your comps too, but if this helps in any way, I just wanted to, you know, to help out. And it's very nonchalant. I'm not acting like I'm worried about it appraising, anything like that. But just be proactive as the listing agent to show up with your comps that you used to come up with the price you came up with.
With your meeting, did they come up with any kind of a reason? I mean, is it the banks trying to take advantage of borrowers now? Or?
Well, after discussion of that particular one, and I don't know, you know, it's hard, who knows if what really is the underlying of that, but as the discussion went on that particular one, the buyer worked for the bank, but our agent who brought the discussion up said that the buyer had to bring another $5,000 themselves that they didn't really have, you know, so, you know, some people were like, oh, that was just collusion. The buyer, you know, they kind of had the insight to, you know, to that appraiser, blah, 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 whether they did or didn't, you know, but our agent, Julie, she was like, yeah, but the buyer ended up having to bring $5,000 more that they didn't have. I mean, her seller still sold it, I think, for 25 less and the buyer came up with 5,000 more. And so she was like, I don't really know that it was that. But that was the only potential thing that came up around that. Like that appraiser it sounded like he was just a jerk, to be honest with you. He wouldn't call her back, you know, when she tried to call, and you know, sometimes we're just at that mercy. And, you know,
another thing I might add too, I always, every time I can, I almost invariably, I will show up with and meet the appraiser when I'm the listing broker.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right. But also, you know, bring a list of comps, but also, and maybe just as important, is a list of improvements. You know, an appraisal,
Sure.
CMA is that house in average condition.
Yeah.
And if you can prove that it's worth more, but
Good
always
point.
show up, but don't just show up with just list of comps, but also show up with a list of improvements. If there is a list of, but try and get one if you can. I've had that make a huge difference. One I closed earlier this year, house built in 1955, and we got at least 50,000 more than what you would think it would appraise for, and we got it to appraise for price. Actually, it appraised for about 3,000 over sales price because of the improvements.
That's a huge point, Steve. Yes, thanks for bringing that up. So for sure, create a list, you know, a separate typewritten list to give with the comps to the appraiser, because, you know.
Yeah, every listing I do, when I take it, I tell the seller to prepare me a list of improvements.
Yeah. Great point. So we've got about 3 minutes to the top of the hour. Is there anything else that anybody wants to throw out or mention or comment on before? we
Kathy, let
wrap
me
up?
just throw just a quick reminder for everybody. If you're not doing these, I started doing them back, I don't know, several months ago here and there, getting more consistent with it. But, Aaron talked about it in his listing series about doing the video CMAs. He talks about how he does 5 to 8 a day. I've been doing more and more of those as well. So just something to just keep in mind. Let me just share my screen here real quick, because like here's one I just recently put together. You can see this. So again, I just took Aaron's deal. Basically, you go back and watch his, but this is just a whiteboard on canvas. I took a screenshot of the comps from this house. It was their second anniversary. So I just did this happy home, second home
Okay.
anniversary. There's a picture of their house. Here's their address. Here's what they bought it for. Here's Zillow's estimate, Redfin's estimate down here, whatever, just to put that in there. And then here's just one page. And I put this video together through Loom, because it puts you down here in the corner with a little circle right there so they can see me. Start out on Google Earth, and then I hone in on their address. It gets their attention when they see that. And then the rest of the video is basically this page, and the whole video is 3 minutes and 30 seconds. This literally took me, this right here took me, maybe 5 minutes to put together. And then the video, I just recorded it and I'm just talking like, hey, just want to wish you a happy, home anniversary, second year. Hard to believe it's been 2 years. You guys are great to work with. Hope you're doing well. Just want to give you a quick update on your house. Had nothing in there about, hey, you're looking to sell, come work with me. Didn't ask him for anything, but just sent this out. And I'm doing more and more of this. Like, again, you could put 4 or 5 of these together once you get in the mode of doing it, and it takes you all of 20 minutes and you're done.
Jeff,
And you could just,
what is the purpose of having this page right here of the MLS? Just out of
because
curiosity.
I'm going through comps. I'm giving them
I got you.
I'm giving them an updated market evaluation, basically just a quick overview of their house. So I just want them to see, like, and this is hard to see in this video or on this page, right? But the top one right here, there's one active, there's one pending, and then there's all these, 9 or 10 that closed. And they
You
can
go
just
back
see.
a year on the closed, or
I went back, I think I went back 6 months or 3 months. I
months,
forget. Yeah. On this one. But here's what they bought it for. Here's here's these values right here. And honestly, when you look at their house, it's probably in the high 3s to low 4s, when you really look at their house. And I just mentioned that, like, hey, here's probably what it's worth right now. If I can help you in any way, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here for you. But just want to wish you a happy home anniversary. And thanks for, thanks again for trusting us a couple of years ago. Look forward to seeing you soon. Whatever. Just a quick thing to throw out. And it's something that when the first one will take you a little bit because you're figuring it out. But once you do like 1, 2, 3 of these, seriously, you could, have a database of people, like, again, KV Core, Commissions Inc., whatever you use in your CRM, and kind of start tweaking those a little bit. The ones that have been in their house for 5, 6 years, I'd put them at the top of the list. They're probably closer to making a move or thinking about it, whatever. But some of those situations we talked about today that you might see. But you could also just throw it out to people, throw it out to your sphere. And don't ask for business, just you're adding value to them. And just approach it with that in mind, just that angle right there. And you'll be surprised the people that reply back to you, or because I do throw out there, hey, if you think this would be good for anybody else, anybody any of your neighbors or something that might want an evaluation of their house, let me know. I'm happy to send them a video just like this. Whatever, you can put that out there as well. So just different things you can do like that, just adding value to them. They all want to know. Everybody's very interested right now in knowing what their house is worth, even if they just bought it a year ago, because of the market and all the stories about real estate in the news and inflation and all these different things that we're dealing with. So it's a quick, simple thing. If you got in the mode of just doing that, like every morning from 8 to 8:30, I'm going to put together 3 or 4 of these and send them out. It's unlisted on my YouTube channel, so nobody else can see it but them. So I know if they watched it or not. Because if it's got a couple views on there, they're the only ones that have the link to it.
yeah.
So I know that they watched it. Now, again, let's say 2 weeks go by and I might go back and look and there were no views on it. I'll send them a text. Hey, just a quick reminder. If you didn't see the email, I did send you a market evaluation on your house, just a quick video, just to give you an update. If you want me to resend it, let me know, but hope you're doing well. And then all of a sudden I'll text it out to them and then I see the view come on. So there's just ways to track it unlisted on your YouTube page. Nobody else can see it but them. You know,
Hey, in
so-
the chat, Kate just asked, how many videos does KV Core allow you to send? Is there a limit?
See, well, not that I'm aware of, but I'm not sending it through KV Core. Like I'm literally just emailing that to them
Okay.
through my email. Okay. So I create the video on my YouTube page. I send them the link in the video, but then I also do a screenshot that I put in the email that I send out. I take one screenshot and I put that picture in there. Okay. And you can actually create it where you can set it to where when they click on that page, it's actually the link to the video when they click on that image. Okay. So I do that in my email to them. Click here to watch the 3-minute video. And I let them know it's a very short video. You're not getting into something big and long here, quick 3-minute video update on your house. Hope you're doing well. They click on that image and it's there. Yeah, hyperlink to the YouTube video and the image. Yep, exactly. So, okay. So if you have questions on that, let me know. If you go back and watch Aaron's training, that 4-part series he did, he talked about that. But, I started using that probably 3 or 4 months before that, but it's really been good. Aaron did mention that he's doing 5 to 8 of those a day, depending on his day, but they really don't take long once you get the mode of doing it. And you're not going in depth in it. You're just pulling up just a quick search around their house. Here's some comps. Here's the page. Put that thing together on Canva, which you're just replacing the image and replacing the data on there. It takes all of, 2 or 3 minutes once you do a couple of them. It's very quick and simple and can work really well. Good responses from people.
Hey, I added real quick, if you guys have not seen it, but Jeff, I share it all the time, that 8-minute video you did on just some of the simplicity of KV Core posting on Facebook and how to generate buyer and seller leads. But this link right here, you can grab it. But I also put it yesterday on our workplace under files. You'll see right there, the post I did yesterday, that link is there. If you have not watched that little 8-minute video and you're not doing some of the simple things Jeff's talking about, man, take advantage of these things, create your own leads.
Yeah.
Totally free. That's the best part about any of it. Doesn't
That's
cost you a
right.
donut.
Jeff here. Just wanted to share a quick couple tips
What?
that could help you guys
Sorry.
Generate some good leads.
Is that going? See you here, Jeff.
Okay.
Is that
Okay,
you?
let's know what you did with it. Hang on.
You, Kathy? I didn't do it.
I clicked on that myself.
Well, good deal. Well, guys, let's wrap it up. It's 5 minutes after the hour. Thank you very much for being on. What do you know what we have next week? I forget, Kathy, what's on the schedule? Never mind. If you go to our workplace page, you'll see the calendar on there, the updated calendar. That if it's not on there, it will be on there probably today. All the schedule. We'll be back next Tuesday though. We got a good lineup for this month.
All right, hang on 1 second. Sorry, I couldn't get you stopped in my background. So next week is what's the word? Fanatical? Is that right?
Fanatical.
Fanatical. I'm like, that's not right. Oh my gosh, I need coffee. Fanatical follow-up.
Oh, right. With who's doing that one?
Steve McCarthy. Yeah,
Steve McCarthy, yeah, big
McCarthy's
agent.
doing that. So it's a fanatical follow-up. He's got a whole kind of training around that. So y'all come back and learn that. So it'll be a good training next week. So y'all have a good week. I'm going to get coffee.
Thanks, everybody. Great to see you guys. Have a great week. Let us know if we can help.
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you very
Bye,
much.
y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.